Hi, today is a very sensitive topic that I am very passionate about. I have taken up the charge to deal with you violators. Yes, you who like to play in people's faces. We're going to talk about that today. And I'm going to tell on you. I'm going to tell everything that you stood to gain from violating someone. And so, join me on today's episode, Violation. All right. Well, welcome to WODD Podcast. I am your host, Yoshonda Tarver, better known as AP over on Facebook, AEOCI, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and at home. And guess what? Now I'm known to AP to you as well. Welcome to my podcast. This is my first episode. I am super excited, though I'm not new to the camera. I'm not new to social media. I am, however, new to podcasting. So bear with me. And if you have some podcasting advice that you have used and it was successful, share. Okay, but anyway, we're going to get right on into this content. I have a special guest, and I'm sure if you follow me over on Facebook with AEOCI, you are quite familiar with the voice that you will be hearing momentarily. It is our one and only EHS Shania Tarver. And so welcome. I'm so excited that you're here to share in the conversation a little bit. This is, like I said, it's not our first time coming together talking about anything. However, the podcast space, we are about to find our place and stand on business. And so I'm super excited. Hey, if you don't have the book, get the book. And you say, well, I can't see, I'm listening. Well, the name of the book is How to Be Married to Two Men. And so you would have to get the book to find out the T in that book unless you already have it. Okay. Yes. So today we're going to be talking about violation. Violation equals gain. And I did a little bit of pre-recording. I went live over on Facebook earlier today and just sharing a little bit out of How to Be Married to Two Men, because there was a section in there that just popped open about that get back spirit. And so I just read a little bit, about a paragraph and a half, and I thought that that was super helpful and insightful to what we're talking about here. But getting back to violation equals gain. Like, what is that? How can violation equals gain, and for who? And so, well, that's the golden nugget there. For who? What did one stand to gain by violating you? Or what did you gain if you violated someone? You know, I know a lot of times we say, I've never violated somebody, but yeah, in somebody else's head, in somebody else's experience, they may feel like that you violated them in some shape, form, or fashion. So to take the posture that you've never violated anyone, you might want to kind of sit back. You might not have violated someone to the extent that you have been violated, or to the extent that maybe one of your loved ones have been violated, or some of the stories that we hear, which can be, horrible, and so there's tiers to violation. It's not a cookie cutter violation. There are definitely tiers to violation at large. But the one that I'm talking about today specifically is dishonor, the disrespect, the contentment of violation. So the disdain altogether. And people, they have all these fancy words now that they use. Gaslighting is definitely a buzzword. Being a narc, you're very narcissistic. That's a buzzword. Being toxic, being feminine and masculine. You got all these toxic, words, or these words are being used in a toxic format. Based around how you're trying to spin the narrative. But one thing about what I love, what the Lord has definitely groomed me in, is how to see the wisdom, the truth in every situation. And so that's the angle that I am going to come at this from, and so I want to invite you into the conversation, and my podcast listeners, welcome, 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 welcome. I'm super excited. This is a house that I'm creating where people could actually come in. And if you know me, then you know exactly what that means. I'm very, very, very private, though I'm transparent. So creating a community, creating a place and a space for like-minded beings to come and to host those share tables, those think tanks, to hear the perspective on those things that mean the most to you, those things that fuel you. And I love diversity. I don't look to see the same thing everywhere. I love what's different about people. I really, really do. And sometimes it can be disheartening for me that I see so many different people, and the very thing that makes them different is what they don't like about themselves. And so they spend a great deal trying to change it, and I spend the other deal of it trying to get you to accept it, because that's what makes you unique. Do you know the very thing that makes you different, the very thing that you despise about yourself, is connected to your economy? Yes, it's connected to your economy. That's part of your God support package, how he intends to take care of you through you. And so the enemy gets us to dislike certain things about ourselves, but that's the very thing that God is going to use to meet your needs. But anyway, that's a podcast for another day. But getting back into this violation, I'm big on definition. And so if you don't know already, I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit hood, and I'm a whole lot of King James Version, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's what you're going to get from me, and that's how I talk, and that's how I'm going to talk until Jesus come, because that's the voice he's going to recognize when I say, Lord, Lord. It's a pleasure to see you, and I don't need to be trying to sound like nobody else when I call my Lord name. He need to know, oh, that's my baby over there. Yeah, it's me, Lord. It's me, Lord, And so that's my voice print. Yes, amen. Amen. Well, welcome again. Welcome again. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how things been. How was your turkey day? Did you enjoy Thanksgiving? Did they treat you well?
Yes, Joe did. Yes. Well, hello everyone. I'm excited to be here. My name is PIT Shania Tarver, and yes, I am the EHS Director, which stands for Embassy Human Services here at Ambassador Embassy of Christ Institute. And it is my pleasure to serve here in all the wonderful capacities that I've been trained and stretched to serve in.
Amen.
Yeah, so my turkey day was wonderful. I ate some turkey, I ate some ham, some dressing, and some mac and cheese. And then potato pie, it did what it needed to do.
It came to do what it meant to do.
Yes, ma'am. But we still have big lies about the back.
Okay, and okay. Tell us a little bit about, what do you mean by unbigging them lies out your back?
You done started something. Yeah,
well, then go ahead.
All right, so unbigging them lies out of that back is a challenge that I was given and that I started back in, I want to say June of this year, and it was to exercise every day. I wanted to exercise, I wanted this, I wanted that, but I say to myself, I wanted it, but did nothing to reach that goal. And so each day I literally exercised, and I put it on the internet, put it on TikTok to unbig the lies that got my back the size that it was. And I'm glad to say I am 50 pounds down.
All right,
yes,
now.
So.
Wow. So can you share, do you mind sharing your TikTok? I mean.
Oh, yeah, no. It's at Shania on TikTok.
So Hey.Heyy.
Heyy.
Oh, Heyy.
.its.Shania, which is Shenaya, the girly way. Yes.
Yes. So hey, it's Shania. Go over and follow her, and maybe she can give you some tips on how to unbig the lies out of your back that maybe you consumed on Turkey Day, or all the turkey days that you've ever had since you've been a turkey in the planet.
Yes.
So wow. Well, congratulations. And how many days you've been going at unbigging? So is this like a challenge, or is just a thing?
So it's a challenge, but it's also the steps towards lifestyle change as well.
Okay.
Because once you overcome the challenge, it's like, oh, well, I don't want it to just be a challenge and I've overcome the challenge, and okay, then that's it. Like, I want to work towards an actual lifestyle change. So with each tier that I reach a milestone, that I can go towards the next big thing. So if there's another lie that I find, I'm not gonna shrink back.
Oh,
You see what I'm
period.
saying?
All
I'm
right.
big that lie too. Ain't no lie too big for me to overcome. Ain't no lie too big for me to yeah.
Amen.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. I
So,
like that.
yeah, so yeah, and I'm also I've started to add on. So I'm not venturing away, but adding on those little get ready with me's. So whether that is me getting ready in my closet slash dressing room.
It depends on your level of intelligence if you're able to recall how you were violated.
Wow.
That's why a lot of people go back and say, I was violated. Why? Why? Because we lack education and training around violation. A lot of times we don't talk about being violated until we're violated. And so it's it's challenging to train and to educate someone who's being violated. Why? Because it's a touchy subject. It's tender there. And to handle somebody hear me with intelligent, circumcised ears. It is challenging to train and educate a person, the soul of a person, the heart of a person, the emotions of a person who's already been violated, especially if they've been violated more than one time, because the education and the training is void of feeling. It is a tool of empowerment. It empowers you to do something, right? And sometimes the violation is still resting on that part of you that was the victim to someone's violation. So to deal with me with training and education sometimes can come off as, are you saying I did something wrong, that I caused this? No, we're just going through the process of it and different things like that. And so that's one of the things that, once again, of your benefits of being a member of WODD podcasting about, how to defend yourself with knowledge, with truth, intelligence. I always say that intelligence is the servant to your common sense.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is very, very layered, and even kind of just to go back into what you were saying about how the education, it works as a defense. So a lot of people who have been violated, it wasn't their youth, right? Because when you're young, when you're a child, you are at your most vulnerable. And then I would even say, even so much so, you are also at your most vulnerable when you're unlearned in an area, including what it means to actually be violated. So, because you will feel that in your inner parts, but you don't have the education which gives you the verbiage to not only defend yourself, but also be able to articulate what, has
That's right, absolutely. Well, violation is a behavioral trait that's attached to those character flaws that one has. And because violation is attached to one's behavior, then it's socially accepted. And it's dismissed as, oh, I didn't mean to. Oh, no, that was just how you took it. Oh, no, you must misunderstood me. Oh, no, that's not what I was trying to do. That's not what I meant to say. My education and my training is going to detect the lie and your false sentiment towards what you did to me. And that's what people don't like. And so going into about the violation a little bit, and one of those words that is accompanied there with violation is gain. And that's why, I titled that violation equals gain. Somebody gains something out of violating you. And to process the violation is one thing, but the next lingering question is, well, why? I processed that I've been violated, how I was violated, how egregious it was, whatever the case was. But why? Because that's the next phase to healing.
Right.
A lot of people want to know why, and why is supposed to be the doorknob on the door to grab hold to and to close, to bring closure to that violation, to cut that off. And so a lot of people are challenged with the why, because I don't know why. You're not going to always get to talk to the person who violated you, neither which you probably want to, And so especially if you was violated in a dishonorable way or whatever the setting was, and you are removed from the situation by leaving or whatever the case was, or that person left, and now you driving or you back home, and now you're trying to process out what happened. You recalling things, and, like I say, because it's not resting well on you, like, man, I think I was violated. And so like I say, it's tiers to it. It's not like one violation fits all, but definitely what one stood to gain by violating you. And your soul will give you an indicator on what the person was coming to take from you, what they stood to gain from you. And that's going to be predicated on the part of you that was pulled at.
Wow.
Because it's telling you something. So it's just like somebody's trying to mug you. Somebody's trying to rob you, right? And the first thing you do is clench your purse. But they're not after your purse, they're after your shoes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, no, you up here holding your purse all tight and close to your chest, and next thing you know, you flipped over because they trying to take your shoes. Like, I know good well you ain't trying to take my shoes. But they don't realize you don't double tie them suckers, because you don't want to trip. So it's not as easy to get your shoes off. And so they're not able to get away with your shoes, but they violated your person by trying to take your shoes, right? And so you can tell what part of you that they were pulling at by the disorder, the arrangements, how they came in and moved something around, shifted something in you. If somebody's trying to pull your shoes off of you and you got them double tied, just like really glued on, you still have to readjust the shoe, realign the shoe to your foot because it's distorted now.
Right.
That's how it is on the inside of you and your soul. You can tell what part of you they were pulling at, trying to take. What was you trying to take from me? What did you thought you was going to gain? Oh, I was coming to pull at your, your security, to make you insecure about this. Oh, I was coming to pull at your faith. Oh, I was coming to pull at your confidence. Oh, I was coming to pull at your resources. Oh, and then you could also tell by what they left, those things that they were saying, or better yet, they wasn't saying. So jealousy, doubt, hatred, spite, different, just outright being cruel towards you, being sneaky. People come up with all kind of crafty, demonic ways to be sneaky, to cause discomfort. That get back spirit. Maybe they feel like you've done something to them, and so they violated you in this way. So I'm going to make you feel the way I feel like you made me feel X amount of years ago, whatever the case was. And so you can tell by which part of you is grieving, which part of you is speaking. What did that infraction do to me moving forward? Well, since I was violated, I don't feel comfortable now walking a certain way, wearing a type shoe. Well, what type shoe was you wearing? Oh, I was wearing these pink heels, and well, where were you going? Oh, I was going to this business meeting. So now that I don't wear the pink heels, I've kind of pulled back from going to the meetings. So you came for my economy.
Wow.
You came for how I walked and moved in this life. You came for my territory. And so you got to know who the real enemy is. Because if that violation, and I'm using this as an analogy, what did the enemy steal from you or attempted to steal from you? And in the form of you trying to protect yourself, you just avoid those places and spaces and people altogether. Meaning, well, I just don't go in that area no more. I don't do business around there anymore. I don't wear those types of shoes anymore. I just kind of fell back and I'm doing something different. Would you have done different if you was never violated in that area? No, that was my passion. That was my dream. That was my thing. Well, then go reclaim it.
Right.
Take it back. Reclaim that. Own that. And sometimes, hear me, and I'm not saying, like I say, this isn't a cookie cutter violation. What I am saying, for those of us that have experienced the attempt of being taken, sometimes can be more challenging than the actual follow through or going all the way through. Man, they took my shoes. Why do I say that? Because you still possess the thing that was touched. It's a point of contact.
Wow.
And so now I can't even look at it. I don't even want it. You know what I'm saying? It's like I have to bear looking at it, and it reminds me of the violation versus something that was just taken from you, and now you're trying to hold on to the memory and it's fading away over time. I don't have that thing anymore. And so you treat it like a house fire. I bless the Lord that I escaped with my life. But when you're left with the thing that was attempted to be taken, then you're processing a little bit different, And so what one stood to gain, you can pick up on that based upon, how you're able to function moving forward. And what is that? What was the damage? What nerve was hit? So a nerve was hit and now is affecting your walk, or is affecting your hand, or is affecting your eyesight, or now your sleep, and now your hearing, now your speech. Now you have all these different ilks and elks in your body because it's transmitting information saying, hey, this is what was touched. And so if we don't process through that with intelligence, we'll never bring our body, we'll never bring our life back online to continue on in the things that we was doing before the violation even took place. And this is where unforgiveness settles in at. This is where grief settles in at. This is where bitterness settles in at. And so you have to have somebody who can walk you through that process, to get you unstuck. And how we were previously talking before we even started the podcast about those mile markers in your journey. Mm-hmm. You might have 189 miles to go through your process, but you're only at mile marker 52. And you're so tired of carrying this and dealing with it, but you still got a great distance to cover. Well, your mile marker might be at an exit, and you just want to get off and just rest. I just want to forget about it. I just want to sit it to the side. I just need to regroup. Okay, fine, we can do that. However, we got to keep going with the intent to finish. And sometimes we can exit out of our process of forgiveness during a violation because we're tired, we're weary, we just don't want to deal with it, we want it to go away, and we can get off at an exit, we can get distracted and put that thing on a back burner or just leave it there altogether. And now you entangle in something else. Do you know what transpires in those situations? Sometimes you can get off at an exit of your process of forgiveness in a violation, and you can adopt another activity that made you feel a little bit better and at best numbed you to the pain or made you forget about what you was dealing with. And now that becomes your new thing. However, that's not part of your destiny. So now that's even a bigger distraction. It holds you in an exit place. Your exit is not your destination. Right? And so then you're supposed to get back on the pathway, because me going to reclaim and regain and process through the forgiveness is going to realign me and put me back where I was so I can keep on this journey. And now you get off, you add these things to you that was never meant to be added to you, called baggage. And so now people are walking around with a lot of exit baggage off the journey, the process of forgiveness to a violation. That if you would have kept going, you would be done by now.
Wow. And like even the analogy of getting off on that exit, like you'll find that even if like actual time has gone by, the space, like the internal space in between the violation and life happening still feels closer than your exit.
Yeah.
Or than you finishing. So getting off your road, your journey to forgiveness, to being healed and set free and delivered and counseling, whatever that looks like for that person's soul. Well, getting off on those exits, which come all too easy. It is easier said than done, but it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible to get back on track. It's not impossible to clip the baggage that kind of works as security blankets, because it kind of stuffs you in, to shield you. But yeah, it's not impossible.
It's not impossible. And we have to stay the course to the process while still processing the violation. And you find those strengths and you find those weaknesses on the journey. Sometimes you're going to laugh, sometimes you're going to cry, sometimes you're going to get upset, sometimes you feel like you're about to have a nervous breakdown, you have anxiety around it, you're frustrated, because it's like this thing derailed me. It just threw me off course. And now hear me. Sometimes people carry even this baggage. It is so unfair that my life was interrupted. I worked so hard. I trained so hard. I applied myself so hard. I did all these things right just for somebody to intercept my pathway with violation that has put me on another pathway that I have to forgive, because success is not going to allow me to go to the next level until I deal with this thing. And so it has brought my life to a halt, to a standstill. And if we're not careful, we will live a fabricated life, because success won't let us back on the journey to finish, head into destiny until we deal with these things. We must deal with these things. And so wise counsel is important. Prayer is important. Staying in the game is important. Sometimes you got to get a coach. Sometimes you're going to have to get counseling several times over. And then you might discover in that one session that you've been violated a number of times. And so the whole point is, when you recognize what was taken from you or attempted to be taken from you, it'll give you insight to who you are. It'll give you, because guess what? Like they say, you don't break into an empty house. You don't break into an empty vault. And so, my economy was that noticeable to you? And here it is, I thought I had nothing. Oh, my faith is that big, is that noticeable? Oh, and here I thought I had little faith. Oh, my confidence was that big that it was noticeable? Here I thought I had little confidence. Oh, my education was that noticeable that you came and attacked it? I thought I didn't know much. Because now what I have and what I've been working on is noticeable and is attracting thieves and violators. Pestilence. I'm telling you, we can find out a lot of things in these violations about ourselves if we could but just pause and maybe have somebody to kind of, shift the optics a little bit. Not downplaying what transpired, but hear this portion while we're here, though. Take this with you along your journey. You're closer than you think, but you still have a distance to go. Stay the course. Finish the race. And if for no other reason, it came to tire you out, to pull you out the game, to pull you out of the race. Because you'll look at the time and the efforts and the resources that you have to put into to get yourself unviolated. I got to turn around and forgive. And then I still got to get back on a journey to life. And I feel like I'm so behind. That's a big violation within itself. And so what did that person stand to gain by what they did to me? That will be on the soul of you. You will know. Oh, they did that because they was jealous. They did that because they was rude. They did that because they was spiteful. They did that because they don't like me. They did that because they hate themselves. They did that because they got the mean girl syndrome. They did that because they don't want to see me prosper. They did that because they knew that would get under my skin. They did that because they feel like I don't deserve what I work so hard for. You could tell. And because we have those thoughts accompanied with our emotions, we just think that it's just, wordplay going on in our head, when your actual soul, the spirit of you as well, is telling you, is giving you DNA information. Your spirit is giving you DNA information on your violator. When they touch your person, when they touch your personal things, they left their DNA. And your spirit is scanning it, telling you what was their motives and intent for doing it. You think because it's in you, as in the form of thoughts and words, that it's just your head talk of what it might be. No, it's telling you exactly what it was. Why? Because it scanned the DNA of the person or even the spirit that violated you. And if you would just pay attention to it, you get your why answered. When you get your why answered, now you are more equipped to defend yourself, course correct, and the like. You know how to guard yourself. You know what boundaries to put in place. You know people to be aware of, places and spaces. Your forgiveness will make more sense. Because sometimes you feel like I'm forgiving the unknown. I'm forgiving the unfair. But he's like, okay, yeah, let me go ahead and heal. Let me go ahead and process. Because as long as you are walking around with unforgiveness and bitterness and resentment towards the violation, it keeps you in a vulnerable, weakened state, and you're not able to properly recall things. You're not properly able to process and vet out people, places, and spaces, and the likelihood that it happens to you again is likely. Yeah.
And that
Who would have thought that violation had so many layers? Thank you for joining me in episode 1. Join me over on episode 2 to hear the final take on violation.